In this video, we'll be looking at 3 technology tools that will be used in a linear regressions unit for Algebra 1 students. The first technology tool that students are introduced to is the Desmos graphing calculator. This tool is used frequently throughout the linear regression unit, and learners will construct a table of values with their data set to start. So what I have on my screen is just an example of a data set and what that looks like on our coordinate plane. And then in addition, I have the line of best fit statistics as well. This tool supports constructionism because it's learner-centered. Learners can explore how the line of best fit changes when the data set changes, so they can play around with these numbers and see what happens as they start to change some of the points on the scatter plot and how that line of best fit is affected by that. Learners are able to try the technology out right away rather than waiting on the instructor to demonstrate every single step and then have them practice it. This tool is really receptive to letting learners try that technology hands-on. The second technology tool is Mafia, which is a software that's meant to be used with the Carnegie Learning textbook, which is the textbook for the Algebra 1 course. And as you can see, I have the first workspace pulled up on my screen, so the Exploring Linear Regression. And as you can see, there's a panel on the left-hand side that's got a scatter plot and a table of values. And the very first thing that it says here is to investigate how the tool works before answering any questions. So the program wants and encourages learners to explore the technology, look at what's happening as we create a scatter plot and a table of values similar to Desmos, before actually connecting it to a concrete data set and creating the functions like we can see on the right-hand side. Okay. So one of the concerns here that I've mentioned in the Module 2 application is that Mafia can be challenging for students that are not at grade level for reading. You can see that there's quite a bit of reading that goes into these questions. And so one way to differentiate this or to help learners that have this challenge is to have guided notes that follow along with this workspace. So I would create a set of guided notes that help students work through exploring with the tool, how to answer and enter in this data, and then maybe some follow-up or reflection questions that will help with answering these. Now within the program itself, Mafia does have a lot of help with helping learners kind of overcome some things that they're not answering correctly. So let's say I'm completing this workspace and I'm entering in an answer and I'm just kind of stuck on what I should be doing. So if I enter in my guesses here, we can see that we start to have a hint that pops up that will help us and guide us through. So it's very receptive to the learner input, and it's not just going to give a blanket statement or maybe a generalized instruction. It's very specific to the problem and the learner's input. Because of all of these features, this platform and this technology tool is in alignment with constructionism theories because it focuses on learner exploration and it's very learner-centered, meaning it's focusing on the input from the learner to give that guided feedback. The last technology tool is the Khan Academy website. So Khan Academy has an abundance of materials, which are instructional videos, simulations, practice problems, quizzes, assessments, a ton of materials that students can use to practice and gain a deeper understanding of their skills. So I have the correlation coefficient activity, which is referenced in that planning guide on my screen. And you can see on the left-hand side, there's 2 instructional videos. One is an overview of correlation coefficient, The second, they now go into an example of what we're referencing in the practice problems. And then lastly, they have a set of practice problems for students to try out. So students can engage with the activity, look at what correlation should look like in comparison to the correlation coefficient, and they're able to check their work, try out the problems as many times as they can, and get their answers checked. If a learner is stuck, they can also reference the examples, as I mentioned, so they can go back to these videos as much as they need to. It's all self-paced. The learner's in control of where they need to be. So if they're not ready to practice with those problems, they can always go back to the instructional videos. So while this tool is the least collaborative of the three tools, it is what I believe part of constructionism, because again, it's learner-centered. The learner is the one that's leading the activity, and it's not based on the instructor. Students aren't waiting for the instructor to pass them to the next problem. They're kind of guiding their learning progress and their learning experience.